Is this a cupcake or is this love? Let's be honest, that cupcake is more than a momentary bite to eat. Even the word treat indicates something more. Sometimes we use sugar to send a message. I love you, I see you, you matter. The late Louise Hay said diabetes reflects the loss of the sweetness of life. With diabetes exploding, have we lost the sweetness of life? And do we think we can find it in a cupcake? In this video, you'll learn how food became love, 3 suggestions to use instead, and some kid-approved fun swaps that light them up more than sugar. I've taught more than 1,000 cooking classes to hundreds of families, and I'll share what works. And I have a confession as well. As kids, most of us learned that love is accompanied with food, from birthday cake to celebrate us, to shared experiences that make us feel like we belong, to fond memories of family time. Those memories wired in before we even had words. So when we became parents, the fastest path to being a fun mom or dad is the same shortcut our nervous system already knows. Geneen Roth says that food often stands in for unmet needs: comfort, attention, connection. You're not weak, you're human. Your brain is efficient, and it reaches for what once worked. Think of a childhood food that equals love for you. What feeling sits beneath that? Can you name it? Because that's what we're trying to give our children. See, when you can name that feeling, you can give that directly to them and not have to feed them sugar as a replacement. You love being the fun parent. Same. Life is busy. Saying yes to sprinkles feels like a shortcut to joy. But here's what I want you to consider. Those colorful boxes aren't really aimed at your kid. They're aimed at the kid still inside you. B. Wilson, in the book First Bite, says it best. Taste is taught. What we call comfort food is actually comfort memories. The food feels like a shortcut to celebration. You know, I worked 80 plus hours a week on swing shift in IT, doing network maintenance at 2 a.m., and I was fried. I fed my kids fast food, dinner out of boxes, and drive-thrus. On my way home, I would grab donuts. On the weekends, I would bake brownies, from a box, of course. But this was my love language, and to this day, my kids connect donuts and brownies with my love. Is that nostalgia? Is that me trying to show them love the only way I could at the time? As kids, we learn to associate food with celebration, love, and even safety. So now when we buy that box of brownies, we want the one that has it all. We buy the deluxe with the frosting and the sprinkles because it has more sugar. So that equals more love, right? It's nostalgia on autopilot. But what are we really trying to give? Dr. Meg Haworth says what the person is looking for is a sense of belonging, of connection, of love, feeling worthy or valuable, the feeling of safe and secure.
And very intimately tied to our family and our culture. And, you know, when you try to tell an Italian person, like you said, you're Italian, that you can't eat pasta or you need to just change your pasta. Well, you know, what do I do now? Because we bond so much over food. So that right there is a psychology piece, you know, is your psychological attachment to specific foods, to things that you think are comforting you, but if they're not really bringing you comfort, if they're making you sick.
Knowing the psychology at play, let's now consider how the companies use that in their marketing. In this Forbes magazine article, Emotion, the Super Weapon of Marketing and Advertising, they explore how emotions are used to manipulate these feelings. American poet Maya Angelou is often quoted as having said, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." Emotional engagement inspires a potential customer to notice and remember the marketing campaign. Now combine this with the fact that the food companies are engineering the food with salt, sugar, fat combos that are further hijacking your brain, hitting those reward pathways, which Michael Moss, the author of Hooked, made us aware of this bliss point, precisely sweet enough to keep you reaching, combined with the emotional triggers in their marketing. So let's add a pattern interrupt. You want tonight to feel special, but instead of adding something to your cart, pick a fun activity to do instead. And here's some reflection for you. What food equals love from your childhood? When you buy treats, what feeling are you trying to give? And what else would give that feeling? Coming up, the 30-second gut-brain explanation that finally makes sense of those 9 p.m. cravings and why nothing else has worked. Nostalgia isn't the whole story. For many of us, food was also comfort. It could be a source of control, or it could be used for numbing feelings. If childhood had loss or chaos, our bodies learned that food is the fastest way to feel okay. Dr. Meg Haworth says, when we have an experience of trauma, we might feel out of control, powerless, or helpless. People use food to numb, to get out of a feeling, or to create a different state. If you've thought, why can't I just say no? There's nothing wrong with you. When your nervous system screams for regulation, it will outvote logic every time. Dr. Aimie Apigian, the author of The Biology of Trauma, has said, willpower can't outcompete a dysregulated nervous system that's just begging for regulation. When stress never finishes, your body keeps pumping adrenaline, and Dr. Aimie explains, adrenaline shifts digestion and eating. Unless it's metabolized, we ping pong between being wired and wiped out.
When we have stored trauma from adverse childhood experiences or any overwhelming experiences that we didn't know how to complete, our nervous system remains in a state of danger and pumps out adrenaline. Adrenaline causes a lot of damage to our gut, our digestion, and it affects our eating habits. Adrenaline needs to be discharged, or a word you're going to hear in this episode, metabolized, in order to complete our responses and reset back to a biology of safety. Otherwise, as I teach in my biology of trauma courses, this will cause our nervous system to get stuck in danger and bounce between feeling in the sympathetic with stress and anxiety or in the dorsal vagal response with freeze and overwhelm.
Here's the wild part. We can be reactivating childhood trauma with every trip to the grocery store. So here's a quick check-in for you. If sweetness of life isn't sugar, what would feel sweet this week? Where did I learn to use food to fix my feelings? And what is my child actually asking for in hard moments? In just a minute, I'll show you why willpower isn't broken and a couple pantry tweaks that can cut your decision fatigue in half. Willpower is not a personality trait. It's a body state. In the book, The Willpower Instinct, the author reminds us that sleep, steady glucose, and calmer emotions top up our willpower. Reduce the number of decisions and stress, and your willpower rises. In his book, The Craving Mind, Judson Brewer maps cravings as a loop: trigger, behavior, reward. Curiosity breaks that loop. What am I actually getting right now? And here's the piece most of us were never taught. Willpower will never outcompete your autonomic nervous system screaming, I need regulation. And this is what I know will give it to me. So I promised you a couple pantry swaps that will help with your willpower and your nervous system. Swap that coffee instead of breakfast mentality for some protein and greens. Avoid long gaps and liquid sugars. 2, help your body clear adrenaline. Aim for about 15 grams of soluble fiber a day, beans if tolerated, or you can do psyllium husk and water. Thanks to Dr. Aimie for those tips. Here's another quick check-in for you. What decision can I automate this week? Which stimulant habit winds me up without me noticing? And what would put real sweetness of life on my calendar? Next up, the surprise. What kids actually think is fun and how to get giggles without the sugar crash, and I'll prove it. Okay, before we get to the kids, I just want to say I'm here for you. I understand the attachment to food and how food is associated with both good memories and bad memories, and how each and every one of us has an inner child. That inner child may need to be reparented. Freedom Kitchen was really created to help you be the best that you can be and also help your kids. Now for the surprise, or at least you might be surprised. Many people are. After teaching more than 1,000 cooking classes, I'm speaking from experience to tell you that kids light up at mastery more than frosting. Sure, they get excited when they walk into cooking class and they hear that we're making cookies or we're making something with sugar. But I promise you that when we start cooking, no matter what we make, they are so proud and excited, and they typically can't wait to try it. They love kneading the dough, hearing the sizzle, smelling the spices. Honestly, they love mortar and pestle. They love grinding spices, and they love serving their family. Fun for them is agency. Fun is creating. We think we need to give them sugar to show them love. And what they're really looking for is connection and experience. And they're really looking for their own independence. Give them that, and the cookies are optional. So here's some suggestions that might help you both. Connection-Over-Confections. Instead of cookie decorating, make some fruit pinwheels. Instead of a cupcake party, make a mini pizza buffet. Instead of having a sweets table, make a waffle brunch table. Oh my gosh, the kids have loved making all of these. I used to use sugar to show love when I was running on empty. And today I give my students what my kids and I were really craving: connection, engagement, opportunity, and independence. That's why Freedom Kitchen is built on creation and leadership, because kids find creating anything fun when it lets them be seen. Coming up, I've got some tricks to beat that snack aisle and a fridge tool that will also help you. But let's circle back to the addictive food business model, which runs on the 5 A's: the addictive formulation, advertising that ties products to belonging, affordability, accessibility, and age. Get them young and keep them long. In the book, The Dorito Effect, the author shows us how flavor technology fakes nature. Michael Moss also shows us how reward is engineered. If love is your motive, then engineered products will always promise the fastest route. So we need to take our power back from these corporations. They're selling you love, connection, belonging, and they're using their tactics to manipulate. Here are some suggestions. On the fridge, make a love menu. Have the kids list things that they might want. Instead, what about a hug, or reading a book, or taking a short walk outside, or a music dance break? Let's remember to balance our dopamine. Space those treats so they feel like treats again. And from the teachings of Louise Hay, let's ask ourselves, where has the sweetness left my life, and how can I invite it back without sugar? Okay, right after this, we will redefine a treat and pick your family's top 3 before we log off. You see, a treat is anything that says you matter. The word treat itself is not only overused, but definitely overconsumed. So what does a treat mean? Is it that you matter in this moment? I see you. What are we conveying with that treat? Maybe we need to redefine it. If we want to show our love, or show someone that they matter, does it require sugar? Or maybe there are other ways that we can convey that message. Maybe through something experiential. Maybe it's learning a new skill together, or maybe it's doing service together. Take some time to consider this and redefine it for your family. See, when food is love, we weren't craving sugar. We were craving a signal. Now we know how to send it daily, clearly, without the sugar crash. There's a lot of insight packed into this video. My classes incorporate more than my students often realize. I won't say this often, but this video may require a second listen. Use the prompts I provided to contemplate your choices and learn how to relate this to your child. If this reframed something for you, I invite you to join our Freedom Kitchen family, because freedom truly begins in our kitchen.